So the Qumran, crazy, crazy. So this is Dead Sea Scrolls stuff. These are the holes that they went into. But this is what Qumran looks like now. It's hard to see. It's basically nothing. There was nothing there. This was a sand pit that has been excavated. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. That shows the whole ancient town, and it's been mapped and all of that. So this is not too far from the Dead Sea Scrolls. So James Barfield, he's not an archaeologist. I think he's a retired American. I think he was like a fire investigator. There's nothing wrong with that. It means he's good at finding clues. You need to say that he's not a trained archaeologist. He's a fire investigator. That makes it better to me. So the Copper Scroll is one of the few documents out of Dead Sea that doesn't really talk about God stuff. It's essentially a thousands-year-old treasure map with X marks the spot. And it was written, it really depends on the story you believe, but written, Jeremiah is fleeing the city, right? The Babylonians are coming. Jeremiah is the prophet, so he knows in advance, right? Good prophets know in advance. The psychics that are in your neighborhood, they don't know. Jeremiah knew, so he gets all the stuff, the ark and all the treasure from Solomon's temple, and he splits down through the caverns, a recent cavern that was just discovered in 2007, one of the only ones that goes from the Temple Mount all the way out to the city, all the way out of the city into the Kidron Valley, that's outside the city walls. Kidron is a river that's right over there. And if you keep going, you end up here, Qumran. So the Copper Scroll is X marks the spot. There are 64 clues in here of where all kinds of stuff is buried. But the problem with the clues is that they're very locally oriented clues. So unless you lived there and knew the culture firsthand, you really wouldn't know how to follow them. It would be like, in your neighbor, let's say you're talking to your friend in your neighborhood and you bury treasure. Hey, where'd you bury the treasure? I buried it in the backyard. Remember that crazy lady who lived there with all the cats that used to yell at us? Yeah. It's in her backyard, 50 paces, away from the back door. Oh, okay. I know what that is. Yeah, but if you don't know the crazy lady, that doesn't make sense to you. So a lot of the clues there are, go to the baker, but not the baker with the bread, the baker with the cake or whatever it was, and then it's this many paces, this many cubits, go east, go west, and it's a lot of clues like that. Which doesn't help. But there were just a handful of clues that Barfield was able to figure out, just basically by elimination. So there, if you can see in the picture, there's a few steps, right? You've got these are the famous ones. These may be Barfield steps, but there's a few different steps around. There's some there. So he finds a clue that basically says 20 cubits near the steps. Steps that go east. And it just so happens that there's only one set of steps that does that. So according to the Copper Scroll, that the treasure underneath there is 1,000 pounds of silver coins, mostly silver chalices, cups, like you go in and you steal somebody's silver, that kind of stuff. They cleared out the silver flatware and that kind of stuff. And that's buried under the steps. So Barfield gets a professional metal detector, and he's working with scientists. He's working with a team. He's not, he doesn't go on Amazon and get a cheap metal detector. He's working with a team, and they scan that area, and it hits and it hits and it hits. And this is not a metal detector that you use with your grandma on the beach to find the coins. I had that. It never worked. Gino and I would walk around for hours. We found pull tabs. That's all we had. So many pull tabs. He's down there nodding like, man, That metal detector, that was a waste of $49.99 through easy payments. Barfield doesn't have that. He's got a scientist. They worked with the metal detector that they tune it for specific metals. And they tune it for silver, and it hits on those stairs, and it hits hard for silver. So we're talking 1,000 pounds. So he asked the Israeli authorities if he can dig, and they say no. He had to get permission to use the metal detector even. He wanted to just go dig, and they said no, and he found more evidence. And they said, all right, you can bring the scientist, but don't dig. You can look, but don't touch, basically. So he finds that. He finds there's another clue that says there's a courtyard, and in the courtyard is a well, and down by the well is, I think the number was 33 tons of polished gold. 33 tons of polished gold. I mean, what is that worth? 33 tons, 2,200 pounds a ton, 16 ounces a pound. I don't know what gold's at. $1,000 an ounce. So we're talking millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of gold. This is near the well in the courtyard, the only one there. So that's why he figures this is it. The metal detector hits, and it hits hard. Again, he can't dig. So the next clue he looks for is this next chunk of treasure, according to the Copper Scroll. And this one, it says it's in a cave in a hill. Now, you saw the pictures of cave in a hill. That doesn't help us, because all we have in the area is cave and hill. That's the whole neighborhood. So what Barfield does is he takes a map of Qumran, and I would show you if it was easy to do. If it helps you visualize, maybe it doesn't. But let's just assume this is his map. So Barfield, he's got his one dot by the steps, and he's got another dot by the well. So those are his two hits. He takes those dots and he just connects them and just draws a line. He just draws a line out because he's trying to find a hill, but you don't know where to go. He draws the line out. He hits the hill. He checks out the hill, and he sees that the hill has like a cave, like an entrance. That's kind of a good one. This might be the one. It's probably not the one. So he finds a cave with an entrance that looks a little bit off. So he goes and he checks it out, and he chips away some of the stone, which, I guess he could do. When I saw a video of him doing that, chipping away stone for samples, I was like, I don't know if that's cool that you're doing that, but if you can, just keep chipping. Just keep chipping. But he just chipped a little bit of the stone. He sends it off to a college in Skokie. They analyze it and say, this ain't stone. This is concrete. This is man-made concrete. So he takes the metal detector up there, and it registers a hit 5 times the size. Here's his stairs. Registers a hit 5 times the size of the well. And the well was what, 33 tons of gold? So that was just a little taste. The big gold is up in the cave, and he believes that that's where most of the treasure is, and he believes that that's where the ark is. There's another set of stairs. This is all from Qumran. So, I've never really had a guess. I like the Ark of the Covenant as a story, but I never really had it. I'm one of those people that's just, I'll believe the last interesting theory. So I'll spend 2 years thinking that it's Ethiopia because Grant Hancock makes a good case. But then someone talks about Templar tunnels, and it's like, well, that's a pretty good case. I like that. So I'm not really convicted. I just like the story, so I'll just keep listening to the stories. But Barfield is the one that really got me thinking. I believe that's what the Copper Scroll looked like. He's the one that really got me thinking, uh-oh, This could be the one. I wonder if this is his cave. Cave 1Q, that's probably not it. So if it's confirmed that it's cement and it's up in that cave, why can't we dig? It's just the cave. You dug everywhere else for the scrolls, right? These weren't all open. They found 1 or 2 caves, but they went looking for the rest. Why not look for the ark? But no permission. I'm trying to see if we have the actual cave for you. Let me see if we can do maybe like Barfield Cave. That's cool looking, but I don't think that's it. I think that's Barfield. Yeah, that's him. So his discoveries are not that long ago. That's what the copper scrolls look like, by the way, when they found them. So you can see how it'd be easy to miss. But that's what they look like. So Barfield is still around. He still, does podcasts and talks. If you're into this kind of stuff, he's worth listening to. The only downside is they're always just hours and hours long, which is cool if you have the time. But I'm impatient. I'm OCD, I'm ADHD. I just get to the cave. That's, he will take the whole story and how he came to arrive here. And that's Qumran.
This is clearly not a professional operation.